Okay, I'm gonna do my best to share how I've created this little elf hat and mask set. So I'm going to show you the pieces I created for a template. So this is about 3/4 inches high and 6.75 inches long. And this is just the hat trim. So I angled it up a bit so that it fits his hat. So his hat, I don't even, there, that's the way I think I made it. His hat is just a triangle that's kind of got a curved bottom. That's 6.5 centimeters long by 6.75 centimeters high. So that's for the hat. And then the mask is 3 inches by 2.5 inches. So I will cut those out. Okay, so I have all my pieces cut, and for the trim I actually use like a micro fleece. It doesn't need to be finished on the edges, so I find it works good. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm not really good at pressing things, I just go to it. So I'm just going to fold this in and hem a small seam allowance on the top and the bottom of the mask. So I'll fold the top down. Trim your threads and then do the same thing on the bottom. Really, this is just to prevent fraying and give you a nice finished look. Trim your threads so that you don't end up with a million, because there will be lots. So now I'm going to have this square with hem, top, and edges. I'm going to do a gather stitch on each side of this square. So I'm going to move my stitch length. I'm doing mine at around 5. And don't knot, and just sew along that edge and trim. So again, on the other side, you do want these threads long so that you can gather. I don't know if you know how to gather or not. And then trim threads. So you want to grab the bottom 2 threads, which is generally your bobbin threads, and cinch the whole thing together, and that'll give you like a gathered top. Once I have it gathered the way I like it, I just sit it under my machine and basically baste so that it stays. I meant to put my lower stitch length 2 first so that it holds it a little better. Okay, so now I have a little bit of a gather on one side, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side now. So yes, it can be a pain. It is a tedious little project, but not very costly in materials. So that kind of balances it out. So just trimming all my hairy edges, because there's a lot of threads from the gathering and then the basting. Okay, so now that I have this, all I want to do is actually, okay, so now I need elastic, and I need enough to go around his head pretty tightly and to tie a knot. So that measures about 6.5 inches. That kind of seems to be like a common theme on this project. It's a 6.5 inch project. Okay, so the first thing I do is tie a knot on my elastic, because you need a ring. I find you need a base to keep it down. So tie a knot. So this is his hat. That's his hat. This is how it goes on his head. So how I make sure it's going to fit, I put the elastic on and make sure that I can have it sit on his face like this. And then I want my first piece to cover the knot on the chin. So I'm going to just take that off and sew a line with the edge. So I folded the edge in once and then put my elastic with the knot kind of close-ish to the edge and just baste down here to hang your elastic at the top. Now you do kind of want your elastic to be aiming upwards so that it goes up on his head when he's wearing it. So just take that to the machine and okay, so now I have one side basted, or that's on. It's not going anywhere. Okay, and then I do a test run on his head again, because the next part, I actually have to make sure I attach where it fits on his head. So I put it on, and make sure that I can tuck the mask under his chin. And then I need to fold it over. So I need to make sure, I know this is really a small piece to work with. So I have the edge of this mask lining up under his ear. I know this one's going to need to fold under to hide my raw edge. Kind of want the mask to tuck under his chin and then come up to his other ear. So to make sure that stays, I use a pin. That should be more upwards. So I want this to go, damn it. So yeah, anyways, it's hard to make me to do this and let you see it. So I'm going to do it and then show you what I've done. Okay, so this is how it's going to look. I know that I want that to be where it is because it fit on his face. So now I'm going to make sure actually, I don't like what I just did there. I'm going to unstitch that because I didn't find that it went in the angle that I wanted. Like I had mentioned, how I want it to go up on his ear and not down. So whatever, this marked my place on where I need to make my stitch again. I'm really picky about how these turn out, or anything I make turns out, so sorry, you'll see me take things apart a lot probably. Okay. So see, I have a little mark now on my thread and on my mask, so I know where it needs to go. I can maybe line it up a little better. So I want that to go more upwards. So laying it down again. That time, I accidentally sewed over my elastic slightly. But no harm done. It's fixed. Okay. So now I want to make sure I don't have too many hairs on the inside, because this isn't really a project that is finished looking on the inside, which is fine. I mean, it's just a little tiny elf. It's hard enough to get them to fit him. So now I stretch this over and my mask is done. And then I stretch this to the top of his head. Okay, sometimes it takes a little jigging around with his face, but it does seem to work and not just be like a whole big box on his head. So there's his little mask. Now, take the triangle piece you had cut for the hat, fold in half. The hat's really easy. And sew along the seam. Lost my thread out of the needle. seems to happen a lot on this machine, and I really don't understand why. It's annoying. Anyways. I sew at about 3 to the seam allowance, because, I don't know, I really just go at the edge of my foot. I'm not one to follow instructions. I just do what I do. Okay, so poke this so that I'm using some, I don't know, more dull-ish end scissors to do the poking part of the turning. So now all I need to do is sew on my trim. So first, create your trim by folding it in half and sewing along this edge. Again, like really narrow seam allowance. Now, this goes on top of the hat like this. So you got an idea of what it's going to look like. Now, because you kind of want the base to be stretchy to get on his head well, I really tend to leave more of the, you know what, I just answered a silly question that I should have done it like this a long time ago. Okay, so turn it, so just like put it on as you would a cuff on a sweater. Put it down all the way to the edge and just sew around. So I have it set up under my machine like that, and I'm going to sew around his hat. And then once you've done that, you can turn it down. I don't know, I kind of think I might like the other one when I didn't do the turny thing like I just told you to do. But that works too. You can do your edging. Sorry, I was talking and not even showing you what I had made. Okay, you can do your edging how you want. This is the turned way. Makes it balanced, I guess. Throw it on his head. Let's see how it looks. Ah, his mask fell. Obviously, thankfully, elves aren't really touched. They just sit on a shelf. So, once they are dressed, likelihood is they're not going to be moving around too much. So there's his little mask. And then sometimes it literally just takes a little bit of jigging with your hands because he's got really big cheeks. It's hard to make a mask that's going to fit his face. It's just, it is what it is. So we work with him because, you know, this is going to make a lot of kids happy this year for Christmas. And Christmas is kind of different this year for everyone. So if we can make or bring a little bit more joy to these kids this year by having their masks on their elf and ridiculous hats change throughout the month, that would be fun, right? So I'm kind of annoyed with his mask right now. I think I'm going to, okay, what's annoying me right now is these two corners. I'm going to fold them in and sew them down. I don't know. I kind of work with my masks. Actually, this seems a little long on him right now. Every mask is individually made for him because, I don't know, it's hard. And I want to make sure that they fit nice for the little people that they're going to be with. So, okay, I hemmed that side down one more time just to see if that will help make it fit better. So this is like maybe my 5th one that's actually worked out, so bear with me here. It's a bit of a process, so there, that's better. I just need to cut his little hanging threads a little bit. Of course, he popped up into his eyes. Which my first few attempts, like, literally did not cover his mouth. They covered his whole head. I was like, how am I supposed to make this? I cursed a few times and said, I know I need to make these. I'd already taken orders on them before I had even created something that I was going to use for him yet. So the idea of that being okay, he does look cute now. There it is. You've made a little elf mask. Hopefully yours turned out cute too. So this is like my first video that I'm adding here as a pattern. I don't know. I've never made a tutorial before, but I figured, if anything, he's a cute place to start. Enjoy, guys. Have a great day. Merry Christmas.